One of the hardest things to recognize is that understanding something and having the goods on something is not the same thing as having capacity to do the things in your life that matter because of that understanding. And whatever you do in your life, whatever's happened to you, whatever pain or suffering you carry, or whatever you're going through, your life matters. It always has, and it always will. How you feel or think about things doesn't have to be the determining factor in how you participate in your life. And I don't mean that your feelings and thoughts don't matter. And I don't mean that your thoughts, your struggles, your grief, your confusion, or emotional pain don't matter. They do. Absolutely, they do. And also, please know that not taking action toward a meaningful life based on what you value is also an action in and of itself. So what's this all got to do with conscious awareness? Well, it's pretty easy to get stuck when one is dealing with what feels like very big things, very big, difficult things. And when I say big things, I don't necessarily mean what society defines as big. I mean, whatever's big for you. You ultimately define that. So I can understand why I might feel abandoned. I can understand attachment wounding. I can understand nervous system activation. I can understand betrayal and estrangement. I can understand grief, loss, the reality that this life has a finite ending. But understanding alone does not necessarily give me the capacity to stay with myself when the emotional and thinking weather becomes really intense. And that's what needs to be done. Outside of the supports that I have, outside of the supports that you have, and please hear me clearly, I'm not suggesting that we live isolated or detached or separate from the rest of humanity. That's not what I mean. I think many of us spend years trying to get certain needs met externally, to be deeply heard, witnessed, accompanied, stayed with from other human beings. And the painful reality is that people may genuinely care for us, and they still don't have the capacity to meet us at the depth that we long for. Human systems always fail at some point. That realization can feel devastating, but we also need to understand something else. The work is not about becoming completely self-sufficient, and the work is not no longer needing human connection. And please don't use detachment, spiritual bypassing, or mindset work to try to manufacture autonomy. None of that is it. The work is learning not to abandon ourselves when others cannot fully stay with us as we navigate the territory of the thinking and emotive self. Others aren't to blame, nor are you. The human mind can be very quick to judge us as weak or defective, flawed, too needy, wanting way too much. None of that is any type of ultimate truth. We can still want what we want from people. We can still feel our needs. We can still take appropriate action in our lives. However, this path begins and ends with dropping into conscious awareness. Conscious awareness is a dimension that inherently has capacity that's already here. So you can remain present to the weather of your life without becoming identical to it, without becoming completely identified with it, without being entirely consumed by the attachments of the thinking mind. To explain that a little more clearly, these thoughts, attachments, emotions, memories, they don't necessarily disappear. Rather, they're held in conscious awareness, the reliable, the steady, compassionate witness. The mind becomes nourished through our direct knowing and experience of awareness. Emotional spirals, mental spirals, they're all weather, not a complete identity. And real capacity isn't the eradication of difficulty, it's the growing ability to remain in compassionate relationship with ourselves from the dimension of conscious awareness while difficulty is present. I love to speak about these things through my own lived experience. I decided it was time to pick up all of Marlowe's things that had been sitting around here. Daily life things, underwear, socks, all of his biker t-shirts, sweatpants, hoodies. The one I bought him from Ware's Harley Davidson in London, England when I was there. All of his ball caps, paperwork. There was so much. Vitamins and treatments he bought after he received his terminal diagnosis that were never used because he was afraid of how it would make him feel, how it would affect him. 2 dressers full of stuff. I knew the time would come when it had to go, and I also knew that I would know when that time was right. I knew I'd feel it as a call to action. Other items had been disposed of quite a while ago, but this felt different, more final, more personal. Like I was dancing in the space of me versus me, emotions, thoughts, memories, love, regret, tenderness, anger, the allness of our relationship. It's difficult to put into words what all of that is for me. And honestly, I still am weathering the emotional cloak of it all. But notice that I'm speaking about a cloak, not a skin. I have friends who understand, people who I know, who genuinely love me and care about me. But ultimately, this is territory that needs to be walked through with capacity, not the realm of the mind or emotions. The emotions can be there, the thoughts can be there. They just need a home that's larger than themselves. And that home is conscious awareness. Remember, people don't always have the capacity to be present in the ways we wish they could be that with their time or the ability to just hold space. Also, remember, awareness doesn't fail. So that's where I went, conscious awareness. And that isn't always easy. Oftentimes the human experience is profoundly nuanced, filled with complexities we may never understand. And we don't necessarily need to, because understanding will come on its own as a knowing. We don't need to force it. There's another space, a space that you can orient to and continue orienting to. That space is conscious awareness. If you'd like to join my free 7-day experiential email orientation series, you can find the link in the description section of this video or in the comments section below. Thank you for being here today. Standing with you. I'll see you soon.